So check for the model that you need as to which part number. There's 2 or 3 different part numbers out there. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is take out the part from the box. This is actually an important step. You want to make sure you have everything here. So you open the box up. First thing, you should have the installation instructions. You may have an invoice from the vendor, and then the next piece right here, this is the actual heater element. It's a pretty simple thing. Basically all this is a resistor, and when electrical current flows through here, it will create resistance, and we know when resistance is created, heat is generated. So that's how it heats, is through electrical resistance. By the way, I measured the ohm resistance on this with a multimeter. If you have one handy, check it out. I can't tell you what the exact specs are. This particular one had 100 ohms. Yours may be more, maybe less. Here's the trick. If you have infinite resistance or zero resistance, you probably have a bad heater element. So keep that in mind. Alright, and then the rest of the components are 2 inline red splices, alright, with metal conductors. Now, we want to inspect these splices. This is kind of an important step. A lot of people overlook this and it'll create problems later. Alright, now, don't know if you can see this very well, but there's a metal piece here on the top of this splice. Alright, this folds over on top of it. Now there's 2 ends. This end here has 2 openings. This end has a closed end and an opening. Alright, the trick is this splice should be inserted into the red plastic, but not down far enough to create any obstruction for the openings. So what you want to do is grab your heater and throw one of the wires down the holes. And make sure, alright, look and see, they can go all the way through, and you can see on this side all the way through without any obstructions. Now if you find it's hitting something in there, physically look and then pull this metal piece away using a little small jeweler screwdriver or knife or whatever, so it's not obstructing those holes. Alright, very important step. Otherwise, when you get to the point of crimping these things, you may end up having a situation where you lose this part, i.e. you use it and it doesn't work right for you, and then you got to start over. And unfortunately, you don't have any spares here. So it's very important you do this step. Alright. Alright, so hopefully this video will supplement the instructions that you got in the box. The instructions have a lot of steps that are left to your imagination or outright just left out. So hopefully the video will fill in the gaps here. Here it goes. Alright, first step is to remove the outer faceplate. So on this particular model, what I recommend you do is go ahead and pull out the little water trap thingy, and we'll set that off the side over here. And this faceplate for this model, yours may be different, this faceplate here is just held in with little keepers. So what you want to do is pull, and we'll see if we get a close-up here. You want to pull on this inside lip a little bit so it pulls away. And you do it on each side a little bit at a time until the whole thing is pulled away, not trying to grab it or force it, but pulling little sections at a time until all of them start to come loose. Okay, there we go. Here's the key point. These little keepers here, you don't want to break these. You're going to need these to put this thing back in. And this is a mounting boss to make sure you don't put it in the wrong way. Also, if you notice, there's a little cutout here for the main board. Okay, so we'll put that off to the side. Alright, the next step is, okay, before we go any further, Next thing we want to do is definitely cut power to this entire system. Remember, you're working with live wires and live circuits, so we don't want to destroy anything or electrocute anybody, so make sure you unplug it. We went ahead and pulled the circuit breaker, so you can see there's no more digits here on the control panel. The power is off. Next, you want to make sure that the water flow is off the dispenser. We turned ours off at our flood stop. You can turn yours off in the basement on the little T-handle where it connects into the water line. Either way you do it, just make sure you cut the water off. Alright, we've already pulled off the faceplate that goes around the edge of it. Next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and pull off what they call the main board and the mounting cradle, which you'll see in a second, and disconnect it from the wiring harness. Before we go any further, did I mention you want to make sure your power is off? Alright, hopefully you were listening. Let's go to the next step. Now, taking this off for this model is relatively simple. What you're going to need is something similar to like a skewer stick or a relatively sharp point. And what you're going to want to do, let's get in close so you can look at it real quick and put a flashlight on it so you can see this up close. There's going to be 3 little holes in here. 1, 2, and 3. And what we're going to want to do is put this little thing in here, not too hard, until we feel we start with one side or the other. In this case, we'll go ahead and start on the far right side. Alright, and then we pop it in. It's a little thing we need to catch right there, and as soon as we get it, you're going to feel, try this side again. Well, it's trying to be difficult. There it is. You'll feel it start to pop out. There you go. And then you pop out the other side, and you're done. Now, don't let it free fall. Alright, now we'll bring the camera back over, and then what you'll notice is there's a mounting point up top that it hooked into. Those 3 keepers keep it in place at the bottom. So what we're going to want to do is we'll get a close-up here, and now you'll see the main board here has 1, 2, here we go, 1, 2, 3 wiring harnesses. Alright, so what we're going to want to do is note how these wiring harnesses come through the cradle. This one, the 6-prong harness comes through the middle, and these 2 harnesses over here come through the right hand side. Alright, so let's go ahead and disconnect the main board. Now, how we do that is actually pretty simple. What we're going to want to do is we've got these little white keepers here. Alright, so we lift these up with a small screwdriver or what have you, or maybe even our finger might work, and we pull these up just enough to get the plug started so you can start to pull it away. So might take a little bit of finesse in it, but once you get it going, it should come all the way out. And at a certain point, all you're really fighting is resistance of the plug, not these. So right now, the only thing we're really fighting in getting this out is the resistance of these prongs right here against the inside of here. We're going to do the same thing over here. Now you notice on this particular one that 2 of the wires are coming in from the left hand side and the other 2 are coming over from the right hand side, but they all feed into one connector here. So same thing as before. We lift up on this. There we go. And as soon as we clear the boss right there, we'll have it on its way